you guys, and welcome back to another episode of Can't Be Contained. I am so excited for this episode. I had the chance to sit down with one of my dear friends, Dr. Mariza Snyder, and she has a brand new book coming out called The Perimenopause Revolution, and you have got to go get this book. I can't even tell you the amount of conversations I've had with friends and clients and so many women in my life who are going through perimenopause and they feel batshit crazy. And I promise you, this book is going to add so much clarity, so much awareness, and so much just resolution to your life. This book is packed with so much amazing goodness for you to really prepare you on that journey so that you can feel your aliveness again, your vitality, and get back in your body. I'm so excited for you to listen to this episode, and I'm so excited for you to read her book. And before we dive in, I want to share with you that we have 20 tickets left for Women in Wealth, November 20th and 21st in San Diego. If you have been hovering around that get ticket button, go ahead and click it now. We are going to sell out, and I want you in the room. This is 2 days of stepping into your most aligned self, releasing so many of those archaic stories around wealth and identity and worthiness, and really setting you up to have a beautiful, aligned $1 million year in 2026. So come to San Diego, come to Heaven on Earth. This is the greatest place on earth. It's so beautiful. You'll be able to meet 200 women who are in the same boat as you, doing amazing work that you can connect with, you can build community with, and you guys can feel alive with. So go to www.pausebreathwork.com/wealth, and I'll see you in San Diego. All right, let's dive right in.
Can't be contained.
What's up, girl?
Hey.
Welcome back to the Can't Be Contained show.
Thank you for having me back.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. I'm so excited you're here. I'm so excited to dive into this concept. I don't know whether it's just the phase of life that I'm in, but the perimenopause conversation is everywhere.
It is a movement.
What is going on over there?
It's called outrage.
Okay.
Women are outraged. No, I'm serious. Because we could at least acknowledge menopause.
God. Yeah.
We knew,
Yeah.
I mean, send me a sign, make it impossible for me to miss.
Yes.
You don't have a period for 12 consecutive months.
Yeah.
We know that is menopause. Now, is the research lacking? Yes. Is the knowledge gap still there? Yes. But we still knew.
Right.
Here's the thing. The 10 years leading up to menopause, when women were really struggling, we just gaslit them.
Got it.
We told them what they're going through is normal, or it's just aging, or we blame you. And so when women finally realized that what they were experiencing was real and that there are people validating them, they were like, okay, I am shouting this from the rooftops.
Right.
That's why perimenopause is having a moment. Women are outraged and they demand to be heard.
Yeah.
They demand to be validated, and they are demanding a level of care that they've always deserved.
Yeah, it's like this righteous rage of like, I told you, finally, I feel validated, right? It's like this validation and outrage. What are some of like the earliest signs of perimenopause?
I love this question. And I think it's important to note, like laying the groundwork in terms of timing. Like when does it even start? And so it can start as early as our mid to late 30s, depending on the woman.
Yeah.
It's going to be individual for every single one of us. One of the best ways to know is when your mom went through menopause. And maybe
do you think she knows? Like, I feel like if I asked my mom, she'd be like, what is that? I don't even know if the boomers know what perimenopause is.
That is the issue. I mean, there is that knowledge gap because the way that we thought of menopause, or even if we even acknowledged perimenopause a decade ago or a couple decades ago, was that it's hot flashes, it's night sweats, low libido, maybe some sleep issues, and crime scene periods. Like, those were the things. And if your mom didn't experience any of those intensely, because there's a gradient, right? Maybe she had a hot flash, or maybe a night sweat, or maybe some low libido, that she didn't. I think we don't all realize it's always going to be an inevitability.
Right.
We're all going to go through it if we're old enough. We get there.
Yeah.
And so, but I think women were like, oh, the low stress tolerance, the brain fog, the mood swings, the frozen shoulder, the weight resistance, the lack of word recall, the not being able to manage 100 tabs anymore. That is all perimenopause. And so early signs are often an exacerbation of the daily pain points of everyday life. And I think that's why we do a great job of gaslighting ourselves.
Right,
We're
right.
just like, I'm just working too hard, or I'm burning out, or I'm doing too much. And often it's because hormones are beginning to decline that all of a sudden our capacity is shifting.
Right.
And it's that capacity shift that usually women begin to kind of notice.
Right.
And
right.
it's typically cyclical. Like usually the follicular phase of your cycle, you're still, always the joke is like, man, I regret the decisions I made in my follicular phase now that I'm in my luteal phase, right? That becomes more exacerbated in perimenopause. So follicular phase, often women are still good. They get to the second phase of their cycle and they're just like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Why can't I sleep?
Yeah.
Why is my mood out of control? Why are my PMS symptoms much more severe? And so that's what usually early perimenopause is going to feel like.
Okay. I actually, when you were sharing that, I had a memory recall of something that I haven't thought about in years. I remember being like 12 years old and we were at the dinner table and my mom just had her hands in her face and she was just like sweating and in so much agony. And I know that was when she was going through menopause because she decided to get a hysterectomy. Is that what most people do when they're going through this?
Unfortunately, due to the knowledge gap that, when women are experiencing a lot of these symptoms, and particularly if they are very, really intense menstrual cycle symptoms, for instance, extreme heavy bleeding or painful heavy periods.
She was in so much pain.
Yeah. And then so usually the recommendation is going to be, it used to be a hysterectomy, a complete or partial.
Right. Okay. So a hysterectomy was the remedy for menopause, perimenopause, but it's not the case anymore?
No, it's still the second most common surgery performed on women. First being pregnancy is what we would consider. Right. And so, no, it's still happening, not to the degree. And so one of the caveats I wasn't going to say was ask your mom if she went through menopause unless she had a hysterectomy.
Yeah, she did. I remember. I'm sure.
And so then she probably doesn't exactly know when she went through it.
Okay.
Natural menopause is anywhere between 45 and 55 years old.
Okay. Natural menopause.
Yeah. And average is 51.
Okay. So then are you saying then we shouldn't get hysterectomies?
It depends.
Okay.
There's a time and a place for a hysterectomy, but we were kind of we dispense birth control pills for every single ail because we are under this impression that women
take them like Tic Tacs. Come on, Becky.
It's bikini medicine. It's only here and here. That's all that these hormones are doing or that distinguish us from being men. And so that's the reason why we kind of throw hormonal birth control at everything. It's it just must be your reproductive health or your reproductive system. And it was kind of the same thing up until I would say, I'd still argue that we're still probably doing more hysterectomies than are necessary. Mm-hmm. But even a decade ago, they were just the thing. You had a litany of these types of symptoms like painful periods or heavy bleeding or, discomfort like fibroids or even endometriosis. And we were like hysterectomy.
Right,
That's what we would do.
Okay, so I have the privilege of knowing your approach because I have the privilege of working with you at the moment, which is so epic. It's been so amazing as Eric and I prepare to have little tiny babies, or as he says, big molar babies. He was 12.6. Did I tell you that?
Woo!
Eric was 12.6, and he keeps saying to me, "We're gonna have a 12.6 baby." I'm like, "Can you stop manifesting?"
Stop manifesting.
But what I learned was it's big babies are due to poor metabolic health.
Yes. Not always. I mean, you Eric is very tall.
Yes. He's gigantic.
There are genetics.
Okay.
There are genetics.
I was hoping. I'm like, I want a 7-pound baby. Let's.
But yeah, we do know that if a mom ends up getting gestational diabetes, or there's poor metabolic health, or there's pre-diabetes during a pregnancy, there's a greater chance for that child to be born bigger.
Yeah. Okay.
Way
Interesting.
more. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm just praying. I'm gonna stay super healthy. Well, I have the privilege of working with you to get super healthy while we create this super baby.
Yeah. I mean, it's important when we think about our reproductive system, and I think this plays into the perimenopause conversation, is that the main event is ovulation.
Yeah.
Whether you want to get pregnant or not, your body preps for that every single month.
It's crazy.
Every month in the follicular phase, you are prepping those follicles, right, for that ovulatory moment. I always joke that everybody loves day 12 us because that's where you have that high estrogen peak. But the reason for that estrogen peak is one, the body knows you're about to pop that egg out.
Yeah.
So one, you're priming for that, but also now we're more sensual.
Yes.
We feel more attractive. We're, we're more connected to our partners during that time. It's biologically imperative that we continue the species. There's a reason why it all works like that. And then on the back end, once we release that egg, it's that temporary structure, the corpus luteum, that releases progesterone into the second half of our cycle. And it's the body thinks until it doesn't know that you may be pregnant. And so now you are leveraging way more metabolic energy, more metabolic capacity, more mitochondrial energy for the just in case you may be pregnant.
For 36 years, I've been saying, psych.
Exactly. And so
it ain't coming.
There's no wonder in the luteal phase of our cycle, we are more inward. We want to
like
chill.
Crazy.
Yeah. And that's when once we hit, like, let's say on a 28-day cycle, day 21, hormones are peaking because the body's like, did we do it?
Did we do it? Did we do the
it?
thing? Did we do the dirty?
And if you didn't, they start to plummet, right? They start to drop. And then that's where we have that late luteal, the symptoms of low hormones start to pop up.
Yeah.
But in peri, if we're not ovulating every single month, because that's happening in perimenopause, they're called ovulatory cycles. That means we're not making progesterone on the back end, that progestation hormone. And so often that luteal phase can feel a lot more rocky,
Right.
Because we don't have enough of that hormone to carry us over, because it's a neurosteroid hormone. It's known as allopregnenolone, or allo in the brain. It calms, it activates GABA receptors to calm everything down. But if it didn't show up to the party, which it's not starting in early perimenopause, you're like, what is going on with me? Why can't I think? Why am I moody? Why am I screaming at everybody? Like, what is going on? Why don't I have... there's a big distinction, and this is the distinction that every woman in perimenopause kind of has to wrangle with. There's a big difference between being capable and having capacity. And so I think in perimenopause,
that's really cool.
That we're all very capable. Like, we know what we were doing in our 20s and our 30s.
Yeah.
And we know the hard-earned lessons we're standing on, and the successes that we're standing on. And then all of a sudden, with these hormones declining, we don't have the same bandwidth or capacity.
Right.
And so that's what makes perimenopause a bit challenging.
What if someone is in perimenopause and then they get pregnant? Because a lot of my friends are in their late 30s, early 40s having babies.
Yeah, including me.
Yeah, I know.
I would be one of those friends.
So what happens in the body when that like what's going on?
And if you're asking from not only from a personal standpoint but from a clinical standpoint, I can speak to that. From a research-based standpoint, girl, there's not a lot of research on this. Well, unfortunately, it's really heartbreaking. I would say the majority of women, what a blessing that we get to expand into our careers, and we're kind of pushing out starting our family later. Like, I just want to just really, celebrate the fact that we get to do that. It feels like a get to. Yeah. And a lot of women at that point were pretty darn intentional about getting pregnant, kind of similar to as you are really taking the time to prime up, right? Yeah. I think, it's gone are the days where, especially as we're waiting a little bit later in life, where someone just sneezes on you. Did you ever get told that? My family was always like, someone could just sneeze on you and you would get pregnant.
That's why the school dance, they would come around with like a measuring stick. It's like you have to be at least 6 to 12 inches away. It's like, it's so easy to get pregnant.
So easy.
You will get pregnant and die.
And then after the age of 35, we're in our late reproductive years, quote unquote. And so we become more intentional. And so I think a lot of women, there's such a focus on getting pregnant, especially at that age. And then we get on the back end. And pregnancy and postpartum in its own right is a profound hormone shift. It's a profound neuroendocrine transition. And once you become a mama, once you're on the back end of that, you're gonna be like, I don't even know the version of me who wasn't.
And that's what terrifies me a little bit. Because, to be honest, I'm like, I love my life. I love who I am now. What if I change?
And your brain is going to change. So our brains go through 3 massive neuroendocrine transitions, massive remodeling. Yeah. We're talking about crazy remodeling, like at least like 20% gets reworked. And that is puberty.
Yeah.
That's pregnancy and postpartum, and it's perimenopause.
Oh, interesting.
And I think where we notice it the most is going to be pregnancy, postpartum, because I think that remodeling happens so freaking fast.
Yeah.
It has to happen in, I would say 2 years, give or take. And again, the research isn't clear. We don't know how long the brain is continuing to shift but you can imagine your brain just went through this massive remodeling of having a baby in early perimenopause, late 30s, early 40s, maybe mid 40s. Then you're in that postpartum journey, just trying to keep that child alive because that is your brain's directive. That's the big shift. Is full mission, keep this child alive at all costs. Then you get on the tail end of that. You've been in a low hormone state for at least about a year, give or take. Finally, hormones are coming online. I know it took me, I want to say, a year and a half before my period came back. So it took a while. I think it was even longer than it took. But by the time it was actually fully cycling again, it was well over a year and a half. And so I was like, because there was a moment where I was like, is it coming back? Like, what's happening?
What's going on down there?
And at 2 years, I feel like most women feel like they turn a corner officially around, some say 1 year, but I would say most of us are saying 2 years, especially as we get older. Like having a baby at 20 is very different than having a baby at 40.
It's crazy the age that your body wants you to have a baby. Like I feel like I just stopped eating glue at 20.
I think like
I was a child.
In terms of like mitochondrial capacity, like 20, I get it. I get why. No, in terms of us being grown up and those lessons.
Like
and
thinking about what I was doing at 20, I was like drinking wine and jumping off whatever. I was just trying to get through college. And so, but I get why. I've talked to my mom who had me at 19 years old, and she watched me walk through this journey of postpartum, and she's like, I don't remember like not sleeping. I don't remember it being a thing. I was like, I could have had you by now. Like you could I could have a 19-year-old right now at 41 years old. Crazy.
And so it's very different. So I think that any 40-year-old who's going through postpartum probably takes a couple of years. So I remember being finally 43. Kingston was 2 years old, and I thought I was out of the clear. And for about 5 months, I was. Like, I felt great. My brain was working well. I had good energy. My labs looked amazing. And I thought, what if I'm winning this game?
Check
like,
it out.
What if I shoved back this whole perimenopause thing? Or maybe, like some women, I'm just not going to feel it. Even though I knew my mom, it was like, as she describes, a nightmare unfolding. So I always thought I was going to get a version of my mother's perimenopause. But then I had this like 5 months where I was like, ooh, like, let's do this. And then the 5 months like into, I guess Kingston was almost 2.5 years old. All of a sudden the symptoms started happening. And it was so destabilizing. Initially, I was scrambling to figure out what was going on with me, because even though do the math, I was 43 years old. I was having symptoms. My cycle was fine, but like I was like, it's a clinical diagnosis of perimenopause.
Right,
like
right.
And I just kept, is it my thyroid? Is it my stress? Is it anything but perimenopause?
I just need more breath work. That's
exactly. I just need more breath
called
work.
Me.
Exactly. And I think that's why women really struggle with it. I think there's this, like, is this something I've dealt with in the past? Is this still postpartum? Because I have a 2 or 3 year old, or is this something else? And so a lot of women will tell you they go straight from postpartum right to perimenopause. Often there's not really a gap. It depends how, when in your 40s or you have that baby. And, when your mom went through menopause, So.
Have you looked at the research or the stats around divorced or women going through perimenopause, and then also the divorce rate, and seeing how those two things are related?
Yes. And if you want a divorce window.
Tell me.
So the age is 45.
To get a divorce.
That's
why?
I think it's a number of things. I'm curious too. I'm looking into this myself, just understanding the research. What we do know is that, again, as I mentioned earlier, perimenopause is a profound neuroendocrine transition. And 80% of women, if not more, are going to experience some pretty massive mood changes. Up to 40% will have a clinical diagnosis of depression and anxiety.
That's 45%? Oh my gosh.
It's pretty severe. It's pretty serious. And we're not exactly sure why.
Yeah.
There's a brand new, a new research grant was just approved looking at perimenopause and more severe mental health disorders like bipolar.
Oh, interesting.
Because these activate.
Right.
PTSD activates in perimenopause. Trauma comes up for review in perimenopause. But again, I think it comes back to that. Here is a woman who was able to handle 100 tabs, ordering cleats for her kids, getting a presentation together, driving or traveling for something, figuring out what dinner is going to be like, making sure the laundry is folded. I mean, the list. And up into perimenopause, many of us are doing this relatively effortlessly.
Right.
And then you get into this transition and it's not like it announces itself.
Right.
It's not like it's like, I'm here, your brain, who knows what's going to happen to it. It's kind of this like weird, sometimes gradual, sometimes Mac truck shift where you don't have capacity. You don't have the bandwidth. And yet the amount that you're taking on, the spinning plates haven't gone anywhere.
Right.
And so if you don't have a partner who is understanding or who's okay and compassionate with a new version of you, a version that's probably going to need bigger boundaries, a version of you that's going to need to prioritize you, a version of you that is kind of reconciling and maybe even grieving the version of you who could do so much more. If that person isn't willing to have compassion or meet you where you're at or hold that emotional and physical and mental labor load, then there's going to be a collision where you're just like, I'm not tolerating this anymore.
Yeah, and I would assume that through that initiation, there's a felt sense of power that women actually feel because our power comes online when we go through the hardest shit, right? So our power comes online. We have more discernment. We have more agency. We know ourselves more. And the shit that we used to tolerate in our 20s and 30s, we probably won't tolerate anymore.
We're not tolerating any of it.
We're like, we're done. We're done.
We're not tolerating the amount of maybe even beliefs that we've been holding on to. We're not tolerating the way that we've been treated. We're not tolerating the fact that everyone and everything is relying on us, or they all are wanting us to prioritize them over us. And you just get a point where you're just like, enough is enough. And I think also, let's say we live to 90 years old. 45 is the halfway point. It ain't 50. And I think that there's this moment.
Dang, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, I mean,
that's weird to think about, right?
And I think there's a moment where every one of us, and I'm speaking to women, men too, that you're like, is this it? Is this all it is?
Right.
Like, and is this what I really want?
Right.
Moving in the second half of my life, and we're talking about the second half of your life where these are where the health issues come up. 20% more of our lives as women are spent in debilitating health more than men.
Wow.
25% more of our lives. And I think a lot of women, when they're experiencing these initial symptoms, these signals, especially the brain-related symptoms, are thinking, I don't want a continuum of this.
Right.
I don't want to feel this at 50, 60, 70 years old. Like, what do I need to shore up for myself? And again, if you don't have a partner who's willing to meet you, or at least want to have an understanding, or want to be compassionate, or just want to meet you some 25%, 30%, maybe 50%. It's never a surprise that women are just like, I don't need, I don't need a second child or a third child.
Right.
I can do this by myself.
Yeah. Which is it's so interesting. It's so, and I think with the right communication, the right partner, what a beautiful time to grow and learn and evolve if that other person is
open,
willing.
Open and willing. And that's why compassionate communication is going to be so important in this transition.
What have you seen, or what does the research say around the impact of somatic healing, breath work, inner work as it relates to perimenopause?
Well, and when I think about that, I think about how so many women just need a nervous system reset. Right? Just need a reset in general.
Yeah.
Just need a moment for them to and especially somatic work. I mean, when we think about trauma, or we think about what we're holding on to, right? It's in our bodies. It's in our biology. And being able to leverage that level of therapeutic breath, I think helps women release so much that they're holding on to, and more importantly, helps them to reduce their anxiety and reduce their survival mode.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of women think that they just have to survive day after day, but breath opens the opportunity for them to thrive.
Yeah, it's really interesting. A lot of the women that I've been speaking to, women in my mastermind, friends of mine who are in perimenopause, like the biggest thing that I hear is just like, I just don't have the capacity. So is that like an energetic capacity? Is that a mental capacity? Is it both?
I think it's both, but I think it's mental.
Yeah.
I think I know what it feels like to be physically tired, but what is the most frustrating is when my brain isn't working the way that I would love. Especially a lot of the women that you get to work with, that I get to work with, right, are extremely high achieving.
Yeah.
And, all of a sudden you come from this place of high achievement and you're used to this way of operating. And then all of a sudden you're not able to operate that way. But it happened without your permission.
Right.
So it's a violation in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
It feels like a violation.
Yeah.
It's felt like a violation to me. Like, I'm like, whoa. Again.
Where'd you come from?
Yeah. I'm like, what?
Who dis?
But I can do it. But I used to be able to do this. Why can't I do this?
Yeah.
And it feels, it requires, that's why I call perimenopause the reckoning, because you really have to reconcile with yourself. But I think,
What do you mean by that? Like, go deeper into that.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about, I think a lot of women feel like they've had to effort their way through life.
Yeah.
And they're like, you know what? I can do that.
Yeah.
And until I can't.
Yeah.
And I think that's the reconciliation, is that, if the world's demanding of you to handle all of these tabs and to handle all of this checklist, and then all of a sudden one day you're not able to, but yet the demands are still there. How do you begin to adjust?
Right.
And how and adjust in a way that it's in alignment with you.
Yeah.
Adjust in a way that you're like, okay, my brain is calling for a new level of functioning and a new level of support. How do I honor who I am and honor my mission and my purpose and my family and how I want to show up in the world with this version of me that's shifting? And so it's a lot of, I say, that deeper work where we get to, am I being driven by beliefs of productivity and worthiness? Am I being driven by, I'm indispensable. So many women I meet are like, well, I've always been indispensable, and all of a sudden things are faltering and you're not so indispensable anymore. But did you ever need to be?
Yeah.
Where's that coming from?
Right.
And so I think all of this is starting to unravel. As it unravels, we get to redefine midlife, and we get to redefine how do we really want to operate in the world, and what really matters in terms of our worth. Can we just be worthy who we are and be worthy in the version that we're stepping into? Can we let some of these old beliefs die? And do I really need to be doing all these things?
Right.
Yeah.
So what do you think the beliefs are that women are clinging on to that are keeping them sort of in that paralyzed, overwhelmed, frustrated state during perimenopause?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. I was talking about this today earlier. One for me was, I remember being told really early in life that I wasn't smart, that I didn't have a lot of true talents or gifts. And I was told this when I was 10 years old.
Who said that?
I'm not going to say who it was. I won't say. There's someone very close to me.
I think I know.
And they said, if you work harder than everybody else, if you want it more and you're willing to go and get it, you get to beat out the talented person. You can win the game. And I remember they were like, that's the only chance you've got. That was how it was put. I think a lot of people, I think we feel like in order to be loved, or in order for there to be worthiness, that we have got to push. Also, I think that there has been this prevailing narrative that women suffer. And that despite the fact that you suffer, because that's just the through line of how it's going to be, you don't listen to it and you push through.
Yeah.
And so I think it's, your family is everything. You put everyone and everything in front of you. That's what you do. One, you are productive at all costs because, you're not worthy unless you're productive. Two, you've got to push towards success or you're a failure. I mean, I think we're running from failure. And then also that you've got to be this phenomenal wife and this mother and you got to wear all of that. So I think these are all the beliefs that we're dealing with. And
dude, it's just so much. It's so much. It sounds like the reckoning, as you called it, is a gigantic permission slip to reevaluate and do a gigantic life audit to figure out, where is my energy being leaked? What are the beliefs that I'm holding on to that are keeping me stuck in this narrative that's making me overwhelmed? And it's just like the permission, like, do I have can I give myself the permission to just let it all go and still feel worthy? And I think that's worthy. A big thing.
That's where the breath work comes in, girl. That's when the internal family systems and the somatic therapy comes in. And that's where, one of our best friends, Jen Hootie, talks about, like, what would you love?
Yeah.
What would you love? Because I have met so many patients of mine when I've asked them, like, what brings you joy? Like, do you pleasure stack in any way? And they're like, I have no idea. What brings me joy? I have no idea.
So interesting.
I've never asked myself. And so in my midlife or in my mindset chapter of the book, The Perimenopause Revolution, it's these really deep questions of women inquiring about themselves, about who they want to become. The other narrative that we hear all the time is that this is the beginning of the end. This is your decline.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy.
It's your step out.
It's
I'm
so
like,
crazy.
You're telling me I built this life. I've built this everything. I'm standing on these beautiful lessons and all this success, and I'm supposed to bow out?
Yeah, no thanks.
No, thank you.
That shit's crazy.
And so it's like, okay, how do you decide who you want to become and, who do you need to be? So I get into all of that because I think these are the questions that we don't give ourselves permission, like the permission slip to ask ourselves. But you have to, you get to, you have to in order to get that clarity. But then we get to do that. We get to decide who we want to become. And I think that's beautiful.
So good. Did I ever tell you what Eric said about perimenopause that one time?
No, I don't think
Oh my God, it's so funny. We went to this perimenopause talk. Where were we? I think we were in No, you were there. Oh my gosh, what was that big event we went to? I think in Austin at that big conference center. You were signing books there.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, the Health Optimization
Summit.
There it is,
the Health Optimization Summit. And we went to a perimenopause
Stephanie.
talk.
Yes,
we went to Stephanie's talk. And she's like, okay, ladies, for those of you who are in perimenopause, hands up if you have brain fog, weight gain, night sweats, all these things. Hands up. And then she goes, y'all are in perimenopause. And Eric looks at me and he goes, I think I'm in perimenopause. It was so funny. Quick little pause here because I need to let you in on something that has honestly changed how I run my business. It was so overwhelming. We had so many different tools, emails, funnels, scheduling things, pipelines, payments. It was honestly such a mess. And then I discovered GoHighLevel. It's literally an all-in-one platform where I can run my entire business under one roof. You guys, it feels so good to go into one platform and see all of our dashboards, the money that we make, the clients that came in, where everybody is. It is so clean and so easy. The automated follow-ups are amazing. The landing pages are amazing. You can even run your memberships and online programs on GoHighLevel. It's honestly freaking awesome. It doesn't just save me money. It has given me back my sanity in my business because I have complete clarity and confidence where everything is. So if you've been looking for a way to streamline your business, to scale faster, to remove the headaches of like tech and all of that complication and just get back to doing what you freaking love, I have partnered with GoHighLevel to give you guys a 30-day experience so you can test drive it yourself, see how you love it. Just head on over to pausebreathwork.com/highlevel. That's pausebreathwork.com/highlevel. I will also put the link to the free trial in the show notes. And seriously, once you see how powerful this is, you're going to wonder how you freaking ran your business without it. So go to pausebreathwork.com/highlevel. All right, so let's talk about solutions or orienting women to solutions. I know based on your philosophy, based on everything that's in your book, you are a very holistic doctor. You're not going to be like, yo, Becky, get a hysterectomy. Probably not, right?
No, I mean,
Okay.
if Becky's having some pretty abnormal bleeding and she is really in
like
a
a
lot of
crime
pain,
scene every night.
then I would be like, we need to get a vaginal ultrasound.
Okay.
Like we need to do
Yeah.
more diagnostics
Yeah.
before we go down that path. But it's warrants, looking at what's going on for Becky. But no, I mean,
Becky, Becky, if you're listening,
Becky girl,
we're talking to you.
if something doesn't feel right.
She's going to slide into my DMs later. I'm excited for it.
But, we can, I mean, in terms of the crime scene periods, or oral micronized progesterone is amazing for that as well. So we can, there's a lot of
Oral
non-surgical.
what?
Oral,
What was that you just said? Was that English?
It's medication. It's a godsend. No, it's progesterone. So
Okay.
we can get hormones that are body identical.
Okay.
That we can take during perimenopause and menopause that can help ease a lot of these symptoms. But most importantly, the silent shifts. That's the thing. Again, that 25%,
Yeah.
not okay.
Yeah, not
I'm
okay.
not cool with that at all. No woman should be suffering needlessly in the second half of her life after she gave everything to everyone.
No kidding.
Like you're like, wait, this is your time.
Yeah.
And now you have lower quality of life. That's not okay.
Yeah.
So hormones can be a part of that. But no, I think lifestyle medicine is always going to win in this conversation because a lot of women are contending not with just declining hormones, but blood sugar issues and cardiovascular issues, inflammation, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. It's so wild. I wonder if, I mean, you're not like a big peptide girl, are you?
And I'm not recommending them or prescribing them all the time by no means, but I love all the tools in the toolbox.
Is there peptides for perimenopause too?
For inflammation, obviously for weight resistance, we've got the GLP-1s. There are definitely
Wait, can we talk about that for a second? I feel so mixed about the GLP-1s. Are they good? Are they bad? Or should we hate them? Should we not hate them? What's going on?
I love this. Yeah, I think it's an important conversation to have. And obviously there's a lot of some of my best friends. It's literally their area of expertise. I think that they have a beautiful place in the conversation. I think obviously they've been here longer than people think that they've been here.
Tell me more about that because I'm like, they popped
yeah,
up
we've been
yesterday.
using them specifically for diabetes.
Okay.
Right? I just want to paint the picture of kind of the metabolic crisis that we have right now, based on the NHANES study, which is this really big metabolic study that's happening in the U.S. 1 in 4 of our children are diabetic.
That's insane.
1 in 4 of
That's
our
insane.
children. 1 in 3 are pre-diabetic, and I don't really distinguish between diabetes and pre-diabetes.
Not your kid. He's never seen sugar in his life.
Well, actually.
I remember this one time your nanny gave him an iced tea and you just lost it.
I know. You're like, she's crazy. Poor baby got so sick.
She reacted like the babysitter gave him cocaine.
Basically. Well, he just got a haircut when I was gone today, and they offered him, everywhere. They're just throwing candy at all the kids.
It's
and
crazy.
So he got a lollipop. He never gets to have those ever because that's just straight sugar. And he was like, do we tell mom?
Who is he having this conversation with?
With his dad, with Alex, my husband, Alex. And they took a bunch of pictures of Kingston. It's a watermelon lollipop. I got the full download because Kingston has to tell me. I'm afraid my son's a snitch. He is always giving updates about everybody. Like he has a friend and a friend's doing something they shouldn't do.
Oh
He tells the parent immediately.
Good. So good.
He's like, hey,
Love this
so-and-so, Sammy over here, he went over, he's like, Kingston is always given the report. He's going to be a reporter or like an investigative journalist.
So good.
So he was like, we got to tell mom about this lollipop situation because I don't want her to think, I don't want her to think I'm holding out. Like I'm not telling her what's up. So sugar. But 1/3. So the time of vulnerability, if we didn't get, metabolic issues well before that, is women in perimenopause.
Yeah.
These hormones are kind of what's holding it all together. And then as they start to decline, we start to see a major shift in body composition changes. So all of a sudden, fat is moving to the belly area. We're losing muscle. We're losing bone. We're becoming more insulin resistant. And it's such an uphill battle for so many people, Sam, that if a GLP-1 can help a woman get out of a situation of prediabetes or metabolic dysfunction so that she can live a higher quality life, like why would I ever deny that?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And there's no downsides to these GLP-1s?
No, they're like any medication, there's going to be side effects. And so I think we're still, there's a lot of working out the nuance of, making them, are they being over prescribed or are they being overdosed?
Right.
Yes, there's lots of instances where this is happening with any major drug that's on the market. And so there needs to be more finesse for sure. That's what I believe for sure. And we really need to pay more attention to the dosing that we're giving these people.
Right. I read some research the other day around microdosing GLP-1s for longevity. Do you know anything about that?
Yes, and you'll a lot of the conventional doctors out there will tell you it's a full body no, and then you've got a lot of functional doctors and then the biohackers that are a full body.
This was a biohacking conference, just to be clear.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so the verdict is still out. Again, I'm still a big proponent of using GLP-1 specifically for addressing metabolic issues.
Right.
But again, 92% of adults have at least one or two biomarkers of metabolic dysfunction. So we got a lot of work to do in this department. So that's usually, and again, my women aren't trying to biohack their way out of things. They're really in a state where they need support.
Yeah.
And so it's a worthy conversation to be having with your doctor.
Yeah, it's been fascinating. Like so many people that I know are on GLP-1s. And at first I was listening to a podcast with Dr. Casey Means and she was like, no, don't touch it, right? She was on like Joe Rogan or something. And then the more I was listening and learning and hearing about the conversation and all these sorts of things, I'm like, there's so many different angles on it. There's so many different perspectives on it.
Yeah, I have family members who have lost over 50 pounds.
Wow.
Family members who for over 20 something years were close to either pre-diabetic or close to pre-diabetic. Their biomarkers, they had metabolic syndrome. Their biomarkers were very, very significantly out of range. And so they were on the cusp of some pretty serious disease.
So in that case, it makes...
Yeah, and then nothing, we're talking... No level of calorie restriction, no level of exercise, no level of anything was addressing these biomarkers or the big weight gain, the weight resistance, and the GLP-1s. For the first time ever, this is multiple family members, their biomarkers are back in range. For the first time in over 2 decades, they've lost over 50 pounds. Their joints don't hurt. They're able to exercise more. And so it has been a massive win, not only a win, but also it has significantly improved their quality of life. And these are women.
Interesting.
And so I would never consider taking something away like that when it's probably bought them years.
Interesting. Yeah, it's so fascinating. I'm like, poor fitness industry.
Oh yeah, we're still going to need, because we're still going to need muscle as that, not only that muscle of like the organ of longevity, but also we need muscle for our brain health, our mental health. We need muscle for our overall metabolic health. And so we're always going to need movement. If there was a through line in the book, it is we need to build our life around movement. That was such a big part of our conversation was
definitely.
like, how do we build more movement even into your life? And you move a lot.
Yeah. For someone who has ADHD and just a ridiculous amount of energy, sitting down is challenging. I can sit down for like an hour maybe, and then I'm like, okay, let's go do something. Movement for me has been medicine. It is medicine. It has been there's nothing, and particularly dance, and you and I have grooved out at our dance studio. Dance particularly is just, when I talk about like joy and the things that bring me joy, it's like dance all day long. Dance is like my first love. I have such a love story with dance. Anytime that I'm feeling any sort of something, it's the first place that I go to. It's just so beautiful. But what I've seen in the last couple of years is really intense weight training has been such a game changer for me. It's helped in so many different areas. And the last thing that I was going to say about the GLP-1s is I also have some female family members who are like their lives have been changed on it. But what I shared with them is like, hey, what is the movement that you're doing? And like, is there anything else that you're doing to support your body other than just this?
And I think that's where we're really missing the boat. That is the opportunity that we're missing is that we are putting people on these medications without lifestyle. without helping to build their muscle. So they are losing muscle without reducing inflammation through food. So all of these pieces need to be put into place. But most importantly, we don't want you wasting all that muscle, you know, when you're on a GLP-1. And, you know, often women, they're not getting enough protein on GLP-1s. They're not moving enough on GLP-1s. And so it's when you really want, again, you want to work with a practitioner who isn't just going to give you a medication. They're going to build out a comprehensive plan so that you're supported not only through it, but if you end up coming off of it for whatever reason, like it's sustainable.
So that's the thing that I like. One of my girlfriends the other day texted me and she told me that she was on a GLP-1 and she's my size. You know, I'm like, dude, I don't think this seems a little ridiculous. But I was like, even like for me personally, like, again, everyone do your own thing. For me personally, it's just not aligned for me. I don't need to. I'm lean, right? But the other thing that I was thinking about is if I did do that, I wouldn't be able to eat the 120 grams of protein that I need to eat in order to gain the muscle. Like, I literally have to blend my fucking chicken sometimes and drink it because it's like 11 p.m. at night. And I'm like, I still have 40 grams of protein to eat. Jeez. Like, if I tried to do that, I would barf.
It's a part-time job. Eating over 100 grams of protein is a part-time job. It's so intense.
The amount of cottage cheese I have to shove into this body on a daily basis in order to hit my gains.
It's so crazy. And I want to give women like wiggle room here because we're not always going to hit those numbers. You know, some days you're only going to get 80 grams. Some days you're going to get 95. Some days you're going to get 110. So I just extra grace to all of us that are doing the best we can. Like, just aim within the ballpark. And I would say that if between like this conversation with you and I, the one thing that I want to impart is that movement is the medicine.
And that's what you write about in your book. Tell us more about that.
Yes. So about the movement or about the book?
Everything. I want to know it all.
I mean, you nailed it. Resistance training is the thing that's going to protect your muscle. Your muscle is a metabolic sponge and a glucose sponge. And so when we're eating, you know, in order for us to not get too much insulin involved, like insulin's a fat storage hormone. We want to keep insulin over there. We don't want to overwork insulin over here as a signal hormone. We want muscle to do the work. So even if it's squats after a meal or a walk after a meal or walking up and down your stairs, like get in where you fit in, or even cleaning your kitchen. There's some interesting preliminary research that shows that the reason why women live longer than men is because we clean the kitchen.
Shut up.
I swear to God.
Are you kidding me right now? What?
It's preliminary, but dude. I mean that we're moving around more. We're moving more because we're constantly moving. Like if there was going to be, you know, if there was going to be a group who was always like running morning routines, evening routines, kitchen, all the things, cleaning, all, you know, running a household, women. I mean, you know, Alex and I have looked at our step count many, many, many times, and I easily clock at least 3,000 to 5,000 more steps a day than he does.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of my favorite things. What is puttering? I call it puttering.
Yeah, it's puttering. Yeah,
dude, it's so relaxing. I put on my headphones and I just putter. I organize. I throw stuff away. I clean. I just move through my house, and it's medicine for me. It feels so good.
I love it.
It feels so good.
And it could be. I mean, if we wanted to, optimize it's like that's organizing. Yeah. That's being the CEO of your household. Yeah. Like that's, you know. But yeah, 100%. Just like constantly making sure that everything is good to go. Also, I don't know about you, but my house is always screaming at me. It's always like, meaning like it's like, pick me up, pick this up, you know, like fold me. It's always like, there's something over here. Like, I was like, I don't understand how it's so interesting, like how Alex can just walk right by all of it. I'm like, you don't
see that? I feel like a psychopath. Like I can't write content if I know there's dishes in my sink.
Exactly.
I'm like, what is that about?
The dining room table is covered with stuff. I'm like,
there's no chance. There's no way.
I can't focus.
Yes.
Yeah, I know that it's like clutter in the brain. It's like, it's like cluttering your house is like cluttering your brain. But the book is really specifically about how do we get you metabolically healthy. One, knowing what's going on with your body.
Can you explain what metabolic health is? Because honestly, like when you and I started working together, I barely knew what that was.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you kind of break that down a little?
So for us to have this conversation, for us to move and do all the things, it's driven by cellular energy. Every little cell in the body is its own little entity, just trying to get by, doing its thing before it's a liver, before it's the gut, before it's anything. It's an individual cell. And that cell has to transport information and has to have a communication with other cells. It's got to move waste in and take on. It's got to replicate DNA. Like it's doing all these jobs, and that all requires energy.
Yeah.
Even on a cellular level, it requires a lot of ATP, which is made by the mitochondria, which again, we have thousands on average, almost in every single cell of the body. So that combination of reactions that are happening in every single cell in the body, that are happening like millions and like I would say billions of reactions that are happening in your and my body right now, that is the sum total of that is your metabolism. Okay?
Got it. There you go.
So where we focus is like, okay, I want to think about energy at a cellular level, whether that is neurons in your brain or that is endothelial cells inside your gut, like wherever we're focusing, or inside the vascular walls of your arteries. Every one of those cells needs to have enough energy to function. And that translates to the energy that you have, the mental energy that you have throughout your day as well. And so when we are thinking about your metabolic health, we want to make sure that your cells are getting the level of energy that they need to actually function. And that happens with sleep, with movement, and most importantly, with the substrates you put into your body.
Yeah.
And so if you are gunking up your body with a lot of ultra-processed foods or refined grains, added sugar, you're going to gunk up those cells. Those cells are going to become inflamed. They're going to have way too much substrate. They're not going to be able to function at their capacity.
Yeah.
So we want to be thinking, how do we eat? How do we build substrates so that we're actually fueling the body so that it has good, clean metabolic health, good, clean cellular energy. And so the way that I think about it, and it's a 5-week plan in the book, there's meal plans and recipes, but it's built around this premise of like, this is how we build a metabolically healthy meal, a metabolically healthy plate. But the question I want everyone to run through is ask yourself, when you're about to eat, is this going to fuel my future brain?
Ooh.
Is this what I want to feed my future brain? And I mean, just be real. Like, are those Cheetos going to get it done? Do you want a Cheeto brain? Like, I don't.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's not really more so the mindset isn't restriction. It's more so, how am I loving my body by putting the foods that are going to thrive in my body? That's how I think about it. So it's not a punishment per se. That Starbucks Frappuccino, it's doing nothing for your body. Nothing. Your body's like, what the heck do I do with this?
Food.
Yeah. Like I have to manage this situation.
Yes.
And so versus, eating a whole apple. Or having, broccoli and a salad and a really nice piece of salmon. Like your body's like, oh, I got this.
I know what this
My
is.
gut microbiome loves this.
Yes.
My cells love this. It's reducing inflammation in my body. It's feeding my body. So that's how I think about it, is like at the least thing that we can do, or by the most important thing we can do rather, is that we are building, substrates for our body that's going to lay the foundation for our future brain, our future muscle, our future cells, and then we move from there. So movement is extra important, but without the right substrates, movement can fall short.
October 21st, baby. This book is coming out, and I'm so excited. I feel so excited because I feel like I remember when you were pitching it, when you were working with your agent and you guys are pitching it, and then I remember the day you got your deal, and now it's here.
Whew. Yeah, I know. Like that was a little over a year ago. That's how fast it happened.
That is insane.
And it's been so amazing to have you on this journey with me.
Oh
and
gosh.
to
I remember
celebrate
the day that you finished the book, we were dancing.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
You've been like the whole journey. You've been in on it.
It's so amazing. So tell us where we can get our hands on it. Give us all the deets.
I have over $700 in bonuses for this book.
Dang.
Whether you get it pre-order, I don't know when this is coming out, or when you're getting it after the fact, you can go and grab those. It's drmariza.com/book. So drmariza.com/book. The book is available everywhere and anywhere. And right now it is selling like hotcakes on Audible because
really,
I mean, perimenopausal women, perimenopausal moms,
they're puttering and they're listening.
Yes, they're puttering and listening, or they're driving their kids to soccer games, or they are, unloading the dishwasher. I mean, these are the things I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I listen to everything on Audible. That's how I consume content.
It's so great.
I'm not surprised.
So great. $700 worth of bonuses.
Yes.
Let's go.
Master classes, recipes, workout
Let's go.
videos, everything you need. Because I believe women deserve wins. We all deserve multiple wins, not just one win. But sometimes it's just that one win that moves you to the next. So the way that I built this was built on you getting a win in this health journey so that you step into the most powerful chapter of your life.
Good. Give us that link one more time.
Yes, drmariza.com/book.
Yes. Okay, I will also put that in the show notes for you guys. Go get amongst her work. I am speaking from experience. I am one of her clients. You are amazing. Your wealth of knowledge is amazing. And you've just added so much clarity and precision to a health journey that can be very complicated and overwhelming. And I know I have so many women in my audience who are in this phase of perimenopause. And I just absolutely know your book is going to be such a gift for them. So thanks for pouring your heart and your love and everything into it. I'm so excited for you. And I'm so excited for everyone who gets the chance to read it or listen to it.
Oh, thank you, love. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Can't be contained.